Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today I'm playing a tank that is as tough as it gets on a ridgeline. This is the tier 10 British heavy tank, the Super Conqueror. But not only is this title related to how brutal a Super Conqueror will be on a ridgeline, it is also related to how hard this game is going to be. This game is as tough as it gets inside World of Tanks. We're dealing with an Object 279E and a Chieftain on the enemy team, although we do have some juicy tier 8s and tier 9s to take advantage of. And you can see that I'm clearly zooming in here on this very aggressive rear of the 279E on our team. Luckily, there's an overpowered tank on both sides this occasion, right? The Super Conqueror pretty much can go toe-to-toe with a vehicle like a Chieftain or a 279E on a ridgeline. The only problem is that it doesn't get the best of penetration on its premium rounds. 326, it's not terrible, but I'd rather have 340 heat, which isn't going to lose any penetration over distance and will be better for going through flat surfaces. Although you could argue that the APCR rounds on the Super Conqueror at 326, which is still going to get, I believe, is it 2 or is it 3 degrees of normalization, will be better for going through slightly angled surfaces compared to 330 heat at least. So our team is pushing forwards. We've got an IS-7 played by is that the Silentel? The Silentel, I guess it's combining Silent and Sentinel into one word, Predator, in the IS-7. And he's going to become our friend in this game. If you're wondering what the unique voice acting is, by the way, yeah, that is the Cobra Commander. All of my chat on Twitch have been telling me that I have to put the Cobra Commander inside the new Cobra medium tank. Although I think that I've got so used to him telling me whether I'm doing well or whether I'm not doing well in the Caliban that I think he's going to have to stay there. Talk about doing well, our team is doing well in this position, and unfortunately we've already lost our ammo rack once in this game. The Super Conqueror definitely one of those vehicles that do end up losing quite a lot of its ammo rack. And I just realized, I'm sorry, Cobra Commander, I apologize. I don't think I'm going to get through this entire video with having you do, albeit your very good voice acting, especially when he does the enemy armor destroyed and that kind of awesome voice break. I think it's just perfect for the Cobra Commander there, but I can't handle it. There's more than enough good things to talk about in this game. And obviously, is that how you become friends with people in World of Tanks? The Super Conqueror getting pushed by the IS-7 there. We both fire a round to the sky. And instead of firing rounds to the sky now, we're going to put 2 rounds into this Chieftain who is now locked in place. Now against the Chieftain, I want to pause this here for a second and I'll zoom in inside my sniper mode. You want to make sure when you're shooting Chieftains that you shoot slightly high on the tracks. Because I guess I could get my third-person camera here and show you. This is an important moment that I sometimes make the mistake when I'm shooting at the front axle on a vehicle of just shooting in the middle. However, if you shoot in the middle against a Chieftain and your shell deviates, it's actually going to bounce off this angled side armor that goes all the way down here. So you actually have to shoot slightly high on the axle here to be able to hit the flat side armor. Just a little bit of a word of advice. It's always nice to give that kind of advice when you're taking out these overpowered Clan Wars tanks or the reward vehicles as well, and people get surprised as to why they can't track them and can't damage them at the same time. So I give my IS-7 a thumbs up there that we've managed to pick up a kill, but somehow, even though I'm up to 1,800 damage and I've taken out a Chieftain and put a few rounds into a 279E, my team is still down 5,000 hit points and 6 tanks. But anyway, at least we've got the health on our vehicle, and we've also got the health on our buddy here. A Silentel Predator. I'm going to have to call you Silent Predator, I think, or Sentinel Predator, one of the two. I don't think I can combine the words. But now it's up to me and Sentinel Predator to be able to try and get back towards the base. Unfortunately, we missed the standard B there, which means that we don't get the interrupt on the cap circle. And with 4 seconds left, 3 seconds left, 2 seconds left, 1 second left, I thought I was interrupting the cap circle against the Predator. Not the Predator, the Progetto. While Predator actually does the job that needed to be done and interrupts a tank inside the cap circle against the Leopard. Now I penetrated AP round there against the Leopard, and you'll see that I'm actually going to load a high explosive round here to try and one-shot the Progetto. I fire into his lower plate, but I guess the shell dipped, and we only do 235 instead of 500. Very disappointed with that. Now I'm going to make a huge misplay, and that is that once again I failed to penetrate the second shell, but the second shell was poorly aimed. I should have shot an AP shell there, which would have guaranteed a kill on the Leopard. Misplay by me, and it might have costed my friend Sentinel Predator, or Silent Predator, a bit of his hit points. Luckily, however, our second shell into the track of the Progetto, knowing that we could overmatch them and lock them in place, and just like that, we just managed to crush all of the tanks that were in the cap circle. What a lovely push there, with the Emil backing us up as well. Hopefully we can avoid this next artillery shell. Yes, we do. That means that maybe I'm going to be able to race back towards the center of the map to be able to help the 279E, who's clearly about to be overwhelmed by a variety of tanks. Trying to think about what ammunition I'm going to need in this situation. Do I want AP? Do I want APCR? Which clearly I'm going to have to fire at the 100. I've only got 6 rounds of them left because I'm such a pay-to-win scrub lord. Or am I going to fire HE in this situation? I let the 279E know that I'm going to help him, and I just really hope that he holds on for as long as he possibly can. I'm going to fire a quick shot here at the Panther 2, and then I realize, why would I be shooting a tier 8 when I should be really trying to engage the E100 in this situation? We bounce a couple of gold rounds, one from the 430 and one from the SU-130 PM, and me and my buddy in the IS-7 are now going to town against the enemy tanks. Now I decide that I don't want to get shot by the 430 there, so I'm going to put 1 round into him, and I'm going to put another round into the side of the 100 turret as they turn. The 279E says, guys, I need help. Yeah, our base needed help. Then we got back as quickly as we possibly could. Nothing we could do. The only thing that the 279E probably should have done in that situation is try to get himself into a position where he couldn't be surrounded. Maybe fallen back to here, and then I would have been able to help them out a little bit more. Oh, disaster there. I bounce a shell aiming at the turret of the E100. Must have hit his mantlet. Now I'm going to side scrape out and try and find the lower plate. Every shot counts when you're down by 2,000 hit points, but it's not just that, we're also down by 5 tanks. The 100 continuing to waltz towards us. Looks like they miss a shell against my buddy in the IS-7, and I'm going to put another round here, and I'm going to go for the turret, as the hull armor was not quite accessible there with the gun depression of the vehicle. While it's an excellent 10, just not quite enough there. That's a bit of a misplay against the Renegade. I aimed slightly low, but at least I managed to track them. And I realize I don't want to leave my buddy hanging out in the open, so I'm going to retake my side-scraping position, put another round into the Renegade, and I'm just trying to cover Silent Silent Predator. Oh my god, am I going to get your name wrong about 4 times in this video? Making sure that I'm covering their lower plate and not moving too much. And you'll see that I'm just going to hold here. I'm going to just let my friend do the work. But of course, when I see that they're all reloading, I got to come around the corner and go for it. And unfortunately, Silent Predator gets shut down, and I also get ammo-wrecked as well, which means I'm not going to be able to finish off the SU. I do use my med kit there to hopefully get back around the corner a little bit, and good shots by the Progetto and the SU to finish off my bud in the IS-7 and also to ammo-wreck me. We're now up to 7,000 damage in the first 7 minutes of this game, and 1,600 assistance as well. I'm going to let my Emil know that I'm ammo-wrecked in the chat to give me time to recover, and I've told him to fall back from that corner. And at the time, I was honestly thinking maybe I'm going to escape, and then I realized that the SU is probably going to be able to hit us. So instead, let's just try and get into a bit of a cover position here and be ready to shoot them as they come round the corner, I guess. I felt a little bit flustered in this situation. And in retrospect, I probably shouldn't have tried to fall back there, and I should just try and hold the corner. Luckily for us, however, the enemies, now that they've got an equal number of hit points to us, although they're still up by 4 tanks, they don't seem so happy to come around the corner. Now I guess that they're all one-shots, and I'm happy for that, because I'm ammo-racked right now. I need another 12 seconds to be able to get my ammo rack back into order, and then I can start to engage them again. So in this situation, it's just trying to be as safe as we can without kind of exposing ourselves, but also just not allow the enemy to come and get into a proxy spotting location. Luckily, I managed to repair my ammo rack. Sorry for pushing the Emil out the way there a little bit, but I can't afford to go too far away from the corner, otherwise clearly the SU is going to be able to get us. So you'll see that I'm watching where the Emil is, and I feel that there's something sneaky about to happen. So I'm going to ask the Emil to fall back in this situation, and he actually goes around and gets a good shot into the Panther 2, but unfortunately loses half of his hit points there, and now we're actually down on hit points. He actually loses most of his hit points. But I expect that the ELC is coming, so I hotshot into the SU-130 PM. Luckily, he misses my lower plate and hits my track instead. And wow, looks like my spider sensors were right about the opponents making their way here. And while I'm going for the ELC, suddenly I notice there's a 430U on my side. Too little, too late with some bad tunnel vision there, so to save my hit points. But luckily, The intuition allows us to switch out to an AP round to be able to finish them off. Now we're going to be loading an HE shell once again to go after this ELC, who's actually firing high explosive rounds at us here. Oh, disaster. The artillery tracks us once again, and I just never feel that I'm ever going to truly have my repair kit in this game. Now that I know that they're firing HE, I feel like I just have to come around the corner, and right now it's a game of cat and mouse, but the artillery is reloading. So I go forwards, backwards, and then bait the ELC into exposing themselves and shut them down there. Now up to 7,800 damage dealt, 1,600 assistance, and 7 kills to boot. Our team now has a combined 456 hit points. Both of the enemy's tanks are now a one-shot, but unfortunately they have an artillery who's obviously a good player if they've managed to get that badge, meaning that they've got most of the honored completions in the first set of the campaign. And now we have the tricky situation of trying to actually push the tempo. So I'm going to try and communicate with the Emil. I say, Emil, we need to fight or we lose. The longer we take, the longer we give the artillery an opportunity to get into a better position, the longer as well that we're going to allow maybe the air projector or something to flank. So I'm saying, can you help me? Are you loaded? Silent Predator on our team says, Emil, go first and take the shot. I mean, that would be a lovely, honourable thing to do. I couldn't see any way out of this. And unfortunately, the artillery manages to tag me. I say, nice shot, GG, well played. And to be fair, it was a good relocate by the artillery on the enemy team. To go into that position, to be ready to splash around the corner was the best thing to do. And I have to admit, at the time, I didn't realize the artillery was in that position. I didn't realize he'd relocated. And I wanted to push the tempo. I wanted to get on that corner, try and force a mistake. Maybe try and get the Panther 2 to bounce so I could go round and try and go after him. Because I expected that the artillery might have because he's faster than me, he can run away, and that we needed to finish off both of these vehicles and then go for the cap circle. So now it's time for the Emil to be the hero in this situation. Now the artillery is reloading. This is the perfect opportunity for the Emil to try and press the advantage. The worst thing that he could do right now is just chill, bounces one shot off the Panther, fires a second one into the dead E100, and clearly we're finding out that the Emil is not the strongest of players. Now, he's got one shot left to be able to go after the Panther 2. I said in chat, go Emil, risk it, because the longer he stays here, the longer he allows the artillery to reload, and inevitably, that means that just after a few seconds, the artillery is going to get a great shot into the Emil and finish the game off. GG, well played. How can I be sad from this neck and neck close game of World of Tanks? I don't know about all of you. I want to win, of course, I want to win. But I would far rather have an opportunity like this to do something pretty good in the game and have those kind of close back and forth battles with some unexpected friends like Silent Predator on my team here than just having another 15-0 stomp of either my team or the enemy team. So unfortunately, it looks like this game was just a little too tough. Nevertheless, 7,860 damage dealt. Our friend, Silentinel Predator, I think I finally got the name right. It took me about 5 tries by the end. Managed to actually do 7,400 damage themselves, eclipsing the damage that the overpowered Object 279E on our team was able to achieve at 1,700. And I must say, a shout out to the artillery on the enemy team. You did a great job in controlling this game with a nice relocate. And also, it's quite funny that it was actually the enemy's Tier 8 tanks that managed to carry that one, and not their Chieftain, who only did 1,500, and not their 279E, who was able to do 3,000 damage. So Silentinel Predator, was an absolute pleasure to play with you in this one. I'm sorry that I made a couple of mistakes that maybe cost you your hit points in the cap circle with a mismanagement of my ammunition. I should have definitely fired AP against the Leopard on the second one. The first one, I think it was an unlucky pen roll against the Progetto, and I would probably fire HE again against that tank. Still an absolute pleasure, and it's not often that you see 2 tanks doing 15,000 damage in a game of World of Tanks. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was it today. Really hope you enjoyed this nail biter. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, however, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it's released on Sunday, it's coming up time for the World of Tanks Tech Tree Showcase, which today is going to be the EBR 105. And so if you've ever wanted to know everything there is to know about all of the French wheeled vehicles, which are the fastest, tanks in the game, then come along right now. I'll be playing all of them, starting at tier 1, working my way up to tier 10, so you can see how the wheelies perform in 2022. So, really looking forward to seeing you all live right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.